Hello, this is a video, Flat Earthers vs Scientists. Quickly, before we react to this, I'm just gonna quickly prove why the Earth is a sphere and not flat. Just very quickly, I will do my best. And before I do say anything, I'm not someone smart. I just finished high school. I'm just in university and I study engineering. That's all. Firstly, right, okay. See, I don't know how to operate a laptop. Firstly, let's go to here, uh, like this. This is the sun, earth, and the moon, not drawn to scale. We look outside and we can see a moon, a full moon, a crescent moon, and there are multiple different shapes. What is that shape? The sun reflects right uh, light rays. It casts a shadow upon the earth, which is then on the moon. Does that make sense? The light, you have the sun, light goes, and there's the earth. Of course, light goes past, but earth blocks the light that comes from the sun. The rest of the light casts a shadow upon the moon. Hence, we have this crescent. What does a crescent mean? If you have the earth, sun's light rays come in like this. The rest of it is on an angle. Sorry, not on an angle, it's on a curved, a crescent. If the earth was flat, like this, and the sun was coming in like that, what the fuck kind of shadow will it go on the moon? Tell me. Sun will come in like this, it will end up being a flat line. Tell me if we ever seen this. Have you ever seen this on the moon? Tell me. Tell me. Have you ever seen a shadow like this on the moon? Yeah? That's my first take. There's a better picture of this. Sorry. Here. Right here. This, if the earth was flat, this is what the shadow on the moon would be like. This is, if you went outside, this is what you would see. This is not science. This is not something we just found out. 2,000 years ago, I'm sure Greeks, whoever else was around back then, I'm not an expert in this. Those people would have looked up and seen that this is not the shadow. Instead, it is what? A crescent. Or there's multiple different shadows. I'm using a crescent for an example. What does that mean? Just common sense and thinking. It means that the earth is a sphere. Next thing, they say we haven't been to the moon. Um, sure, okay. But Galileo has an experiment where people used to think before that a heavier object would fall faster than a lighter object. Intuitively, that makes sense, but that is not the case. On Earth, if you are to drop a feather and a hammer will fall faster, but the feather will float. But it would only float. It's light, and there's an air resistance. If you think about it like this, there's air resistance. It will float. So what if you do it on the moon?
Feather for our Falcon, and I'll drop the two of them here, and hopefully they'll hit the ground at the same time.
Why is this? As you can see, it falls at the same time. What does that mean? There's no atmospheric pressure. It can fall at the same rate. The reason on Earth that it doesn't that a feather would fall would fall slower, and a hammer would just drop down. Think about the surface area, the air pushing up, a feather would float. How did we not go to the moon in 1960, but yet we recreated this? The only way you could do something like that on Earth is if you were to get maybe maybe a golf ball and a football. Yeah, it's got the same shape, different masses though, but it would still fall at the same rate. The reason that they got a feather and did it, why? Because if you got a feather and a hammer on Earth, a feather would float. You take a feather and a hammer to the moon, where everything is a lot less. The atmospheric pressure is a lot less, and the gravitational pull, I believe, is 1/6 on of Earth. It falls at the same rate. This is not really science; it's common sense. Think, do experiments. Science is based on experiments, results, outliers, reproducibility. So how many times you can do it? If one person does it here, all the way across the world, can they do it? Around world, can they do it? I can keep disproving it if you want. What else? Time zones. Time zones. What's time zones? If the Earth was flat, yeah. If the Earth was flat like this, hold on, wait. Let me expand this. If the Earth was flat like this, and there was a sun, if there was a sun, would this would it not be daytime everywhere? We have a ball, a sun. What does that mean? As the Earth spins, rotates, part of the Earth is that's facing the sun, daytime. Other half, nighttime. This is common sense. That's the reason why we have seasons. If the Earth was flat, wouldn't it be the same fucking season everywhere? This is common sense, people. This is not hard. Yeah, I may have stumbled on my words when I was speaking, but at the end of the day, I hope it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, just I'll put it in the comments. I'll try and explain it a bit better. But just think, the Earth is flat. Think about the shadow that's cast upon the moon. It's not a disc. Instead, there are shapes like a crescent, where you can imagine a ball. Neil deGrasse Tyson has written a book on being round, where he explains why everything has a tendency to become a sphere. I am not that level of knowledge. I'm not at that level of knowledge yet. I cannot explain what he has written, so I'm trying to explain what I know. Time zones, seasons, what else? The shadow on the moon, and then they say gravity doesn't exist. Gravity is one of the four fundamental forces on Earth. Yeah, strong electromagnetism, gravity, strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force. I believe. I believe. Don't quote me on this. If gravity should not exist, we would not exist. I would not be talking to you right now. There wouldn't be a fucking flat Earth society if gravity didn't exist. You people wouldn't exist. This is like it's a common sense. I'm not claiming to be smart. I know literally nothing. Yeah, in the whole scheme of things, my camera is literally inverted, and I don't know how to fix it. I'm on OBS. If someone knows how to fix it, let me know. But yeah, I hope all of that made sense. Just if it doesn't, let me know. I showed you this. Oh right, it falls at the same rate. Proves why we've been to the moon. And yeah.
For man, one.
Think the shape of the Earth is.
I don't think. I know for a fact it's a globe.
The Earth is flat.
It's like we have this picture of reality that's a big puzzle piece, and then one of those pieces just wasn't fitting.
I'm always open to having a discussion with someone who is holding a wrong belief like this.
Are you willing to change your mind on this?
I'm not. The evidence is so much. Nobody.
Exactly. Sorry. Just one more thing. When scientists make claims, they do not pull it out of their ass. An idea is what you pull out of your ass. You do experiments, you get proof, you get evidence, you run experiments again and again and again and again until you have solid proof, solid evidence before it becomes a claim. You cannot go against what people have evidence for. When you say the earth is flat, you disprove all of science. Everything humanity has worked up until for the last 2,000, 3,000, however long humanity is. However old humanity is. When you say the earth is flat, all you're doing is hindering society. Please, this is for anyone. If you believe the earth is flat, believe. But just shut the fuck up. Don't tell everyone you believe the earth is flat, because all you're doing is spreading misinformation, and all you're doing is hindering society's growth. The aim of society It's one, to reproduce, and two, we gain more and more knowledge as humans, so all we know is to go forward. That's what we have scientists for. Scientists do not make claims without evidence. Ideas are what they pull out of their ass. So please. And also one more thing, if you believe, uh, if you're gonna bring on people that believe the Earth is flat, don't, don't, uh, just don't give them a platform. And like, flat earthers are so stupid. There's flat Earth societies where all of them believe the Earth is flat, and they go to like a meeting. So what the fuck is the point of the meeting if all of them believe that the Earth is flat? They go to a flat Earth conference where they all believe the Earth is flat. So what are they arguing about? What are they discussing about? They all believe the Earth is flat, but yet they still go. Do the rest of us humans have a sphere Earth society? Do we go talk about what we already know? This just proves they're fucking idiots.
Nobody wants to be a flat earther, but if you showed me incontrovertible evidence, I would definitely go back. Who wants the ridicule?
Where are you hoping to get from the discussion with the other side?
I'd like to tear them to pieces.
See? Tear them to pieces. What does that even mean? I'll bang you in your face, you idiot.
I'm Jim Underdown, Executive Director of the Center for Inquiry West in Los Angeles and the Chair of the CFI Investigations Group.
I'm Spencer Marks, one of the senior members of the CFI Investigations Group, Science Advocate.
I'm Marina Yeri. I'm a theoretical physicist, and I'm with the University of Irvine.
I'm Wendell Walton. I'm a Chief Learning Officer for a young startup.
I'm Shelley Lewis. I'm a graduate of West Point, critical thinker, and jumped out of airplanes.
My name is Dan Glattman. I work as Dan the Waterman in the drinking water filtration industry, and I'm a truth seeker.
I get my flat earthers on the left and my globe earthers on the right. Only step forward if this is true for you. I believe the earth was created by a higher power.
Well, I've been a Christian for 30 years, so...
That's a good question, you know. Was the Earth created by how high power? I can't lie, I do not know. So I will not make claims.
The Bible is a flat earth book. You have to take it literally. Like, for example, in Isaiah, when it talks about how the earth is like a clay wax seal that's stamped with upturned edges, that's just not some fancy story. That's a simile. It is like.
Right? Absolutely. And in Isaiah it talks about too, and I'm Christian, he who sits upon the circle of the earth. There's a difference between a circle and a ball.
Well, exactly. If you look at the original Hebrew, it means disc. There's over.
Bro, shut up, bruv. I'll bang you in your face.
So this notion that you need God or some higher power to create the earth or the universe is very old, and was initially posited by people of a pre-scientific age. Since then, we have learned quite a bit about the universe coming into existence, when that happened. Modern humans don't get their cosmology, they don't get their physics, they don't get their knowledge of the universe from the Bible or any ancient text.
It's sort of like the God of the gaps. Once, people used to believe that lightning was God's wrath and throwing these lightning bolts, but once we understood it was a natural process, God shrank a little bit more, because now we couldn't attribute those lightning bolts to God. We had to attribute that to the real science. And the other thing, the point about the Bible specifically for me is, why is that one particular text the correct one? You choose to believe that, and that's fine, but there's so many other writings and so many other books, so why weren't they correct? Why is just the Bible correct?
Well, what you'll find in a lot of these ancient religions is they're all flat earth religions. All their cosmology goes back to being a flat earth with an enclosed system. So it's not just the Bible that teaches this. It's many different religious books.
So one problem I have is to trying to explain phenomena happen in nature by holy books. Those are religious books. Those are not books of science. And it is wrong to infer or deduct scientific readings out of those books.
My name is Wendell. I am a logical, biblically based, and
Logical,
scientific
yeah,
flat earther. I
and
didn't start out,
scientific.
and no one starts out as a flat earther, but I had a lot of questions. So I actually got to the point where I had to go out and put my own eyeballs on it. So we went out to an observation at Salton Sea, and things just didn't add up down there. So we've gone back probably a dozen times, and I can guarantee you that there is no curvature over distance.
The internet
But
has
then that's a lake. What about the size of the whole Earth? It's one lake. This.
played an important role in confirming my view of this topic.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, we have the advantage of information today that's outside of channels 2, 4, and 7 and the few networks that are corporately owned. It's pretty easy to say YouTube isn't research, but when you spend enough time, you're picking up quite a bit. And with the discussion groups, panels, we've gone against opposition, we've opposed ourselves. Surprisingly enough, Flat Earth is its own worst enemy. So it's not that easy for us to come to consensus. And we find that consensus is orchestrated and not actually scientific in any way.
You know, my grandfather used to tell me growing up, never believe anything you read in the newspaper, right? He told that to me. Now, with the age of the internet, it's like, you know, how much of this misinformation are you getting there? And when you have like eyewitnesses take
When you say the Earth is flat, I believe what you are spreading is misinformation. You know what? I'm gonna let this guy yap, but I'm just gonna explain. Scientists try to find the truth. They do not make a claim and say that this is the truth without the evidence. I've said this, but all right.
Of why there are so many flat earth believers out there right now. The problem is the information from someone who decides to start a website or produce a YouTube video is not reliable. When I have a toothache, I go to a dentist. When my car breaks down, I go to a mechanic. When you have questions about cosmology, you should go to an astrophysicist, you should go to a physicist, you should go to people who have spent years and years studying these ideas, not some 6-minute YouTube video. There is a percentage of people that if they saw a YouTube video that was not within their scientific chops to refute on the face of it, would believe anything out there.
One of the things I will say is NASA.gov has their own documents out there that we get to vet, which is through the Freedom of Information Act. And would you agree that NASA documents, if they're on display, that we should be able to go and research inside there?
NASA is not proving that the Earth is flat.
Well, they say it in 14 of the
you
documents.
should read what NASA says, and you should listen to what
I
NASA
would
says.
love to see your NASA evidence that the
Wait,
Earth is
wait,
flat.
why would NASA say that the Earth is flat? Oh my God!
They're contradictory issues
Okay,
that
let's
bring
see.
us here.
We're all familiar with the Earthrise photo, right? The Earth is rising over the moon. We're all familiar with it. That's NASA. You can go out to NASA's site. You can download the original, right?
I already know what you're going to ask.
So you bring up the luminance on it, and you can see where it's cut out and pasted there.
They're showing us doctored images that are clearly doctored. The blue marble is a very famous image from 1972. When you talk to the artist from NASA, his name is Robert Simmons, he talks about exactly how it was created from data, and it's not a photograph whatsoever. He added
what?
clouds.
Let me explain.
He added
Hold
a
on.
highlight of the
If
sun.
you take, on your phone, most phones have that panoramic image. When you do that, you're taking a series of pictures, and the phone cleverly stitches
I'm
that
just
together.
saying how it's
Hold on.
presented. It's
Hold on.
presented as a real
So when
photograph.
NASA takes real photos and they either clean them up for color or they stitch them together so it's one large image, it doesn't mean they're CGI.
You're talking about composites.
Alright, bro, shut up.
And what
A globe denier. Scientists try to find a truth. What these flat earthers do is hinder society, You spread misinformation. You're hindering society. His society's aim is to learn and grow. NASA does not benefit. This picture's pissing me off. What is this? What the hell is this, bruv? An ice plane, a localized sun.
Thrives there. You know, these particular people.
Sometimes, why would they say the Earth is flat? What the government tries to control is on Earth. What they don't try to control is what's out of Earth. It's the government, CIA, NASA. Maybe let's not include NASA in that. But what the government of the top world officials, what they try to do is control Earth, make as much money, hide their schemes, all of that. What they don't know is what's outside of Earth. This is what I believe, by the way. It's an outside of Earth. Why would they lie about something that they too are unsure of? That they too put billions of dollars into NASA so that we can research what's out there. This is what scientists dedicate their lives to. But you're coming and saying this proves what humanity has done for this whole time until present day. The thirst for knowledge. What you're doing is setting us back. So please, don't give these flat earthers a platform. That's all I ask.
Speak. We've been suppressed, censored by mainstream media. Alternative media is just a thing of beauty for me.
I view the other side as uneducated.
I'm running.
They think we are uneducated.
Well, they certainly think they're educated.
And they're following
See? Oh shit! Fucking hell! I just spilled my water. Oh, okay. This is the difference. This is the difference. They think that scientists are uneducated. This is the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? You learn a little bit, and you think you know everything. You learn a little bit more, your confidence goes down, 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 and to the point where you're as low as you originally started. These people, there's something, I believe there's a quote where it's like, if they don't know, but they don't know they don't know, leave them alone. But if they know and they know that they know, follow them. What they're saying right here is that scientists don't know. But in reality, what these flat earthers are is that they think they know, but really they don't know. Does that make sense? It's a bit stupid. And I'm talking about the flat earthers, by the way.
a bit of the university system, what we call scientism.
Right, scientism.
Obviously, is the belief in what's written, where we tend to be exploring in the field with physical properties, not theories of any kind. We're using actual measurements that are calculated not by our guidelines, but the guidelines of science as we know it. I can only hope they're uneducated as opposed to disingenuous.
Well, that's the other thing too, because we know that at least on a large scale, the government has been disingenuous, and they're pushing a narrative, right? So it's hard for us. I mean, I'm sure that you've met people too. It's like, look, are you haven't looked into it yet, or are you a shill? Are you part of a disinformation campaign?
I don't think you guys are uneducated. I think you're wrongly educated.
I think the problem with what I've seen in the flat earth crowd is that it's not that they're undereducated, but they, instead of looking at evidence and letting the evidence guide to where the ultimate conclusion is, they start with a conclusion and then they try to cherry pick evidence to support
I couldn't have said it better myself, mate. Shout out to him.
Pre-drawn conclusion. They cast away all the bits of evidence that actually is contrary to their belief system.
I think that you're very well educated as well as you are, Jim.
But, certainly Ali is probably get the best education of all of us.
Exactly, and he paid for it too. But more and more...
What's he trying to say, bro? Why did this fucking balloon just ignore Ali? Ali's a theoretical physicist. And you just said, I think you're very well educated. But previously, you just came and sat down, though, when they said, "Do you think the other side is educated?" So why are you contradicting yourself? When scientists make so when they find evidence to come to a conclusion, there are discrepancies, right? Sometimes they're outliers, but if there's a certain thing that keeps coming up and up, no matter how long you worked on a proof, that thing gets cancelled. Flat earthers choose to ignore the the evidence that they don't want to see and pick the ones that they want to see. This guy said it perfectly.
As well as you are, Jim. But,
Certainly Ali is probably get the best education of all of us.
Exactly, and he paid for it too.
What does that even? What does that mean? I'll bang him in his face. Fucking idiot.
But more and more professionals are coming on board. They're starting to question their reality. So the thing of it is once you start to really take a hard look at the evidence, and you are unafraid of just standing for the truth wherever that may lead you, then people end up becoming flat earthers.
What are you hoping to get from the discussion today?
I'm hoping to be able to tell our side of the story from the inside out. So many times, flat earthers are depicted from the outside in, and I want to be able to share with others.
Shush. Nah, I'm sorry.
Proves the earth is not what we've been told.
I have changed my mind at some point about this topic.
So when I was 12 years old, I went to space camp, and I met Alan B. Shepard.
Oh, nice.
Yep, and I wanted to be an astronaut. I was in that little really
Shut up, bro.
Ram, it's and I'm
Of your conversions.
and I think I could shut up quite. I mean, easily. I think I could shut up.
The timing of your conversions is interesting to me. 20 years ago, the flat earth world was tiny and insignificant. Enter the advent of the internet, YouTube, online discussion groups, all these new available places where you could find information about everything.
This is true that the evidence as you looked were not robust evidence. And the sources you used, they were not reliable sources again. But my problem is that, and I like you guys that you are very skeptical, but at the same time, you are not skeptical about your belief system.
You
That
keep
should
going
have come
back.
first.
You think that that's my foundation for why I believe the earth is flat, and I'm telling you, you're wrong.
Okay.
I have evidence that proves it's flat.
What type
or proves
of
it's
evidence?
not a ball.
What type of
Curvature, I
We're
don't
being
know.
misled. We're being deliberately misled by mainstream
Now,
media.
what's your evidence? You're
We
thinking,
see too far. We see too far. We should not
Oh, please, please, just go look into the horizon. See a ship go into the horizon. I promise you, it will disappear. Wait, and watch it disappear. It doesn't fall off the fucking edge. It goes around. Gravity is uniform. I believe. Actually, I'm not gonna say uniform because I don't know if gravity is uniform on Earth, but gravity pulls everything towards a center of the mass. Everything is pulled towards the center of Earth. That's why you can just go around. I can't believe I have to explain this. I genuinely can't believe I have to explain this.
be able to see. I live in Dana Point.
Okay.
I can see San Clemente Island, which is 60 miles away.
So what?
It's very high.
What do you mean, so what?
No, I'm
it's
on the
1,100
beach.
feet
I'm on the
tall.
beach.
It is
What do you mean by
tall.
so what?
I'm on
But-
the beach.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Can you see a ship which is going?
We're not
Yeah,
talking
let's talk
that.
about the ship that goes
Yes,
over the curvature
okay.
of the earth. I love
So-
it. So, science has said that when I see a ship go out of my field of view, it's going over the curvature of the earth, correct?
Yes.
But then I bring my P900 up, and guess what? I can zoom it back in.
Not
So
all
is
the
it
time.
going over the curvature of the
No,
earth
you
or
can't.
not?
Absolutely.
Oh, not all the
No, you
time?
can't.
Not all the time?
No, you don't see all the ship. The bottom part of the ship
Yes.
is hidden by the
At that
curvature.
distance, you shouldn't see the top
At
of it
all.
either.
If the Earth were truly
No, that's what a peak is. A peak. Do I really have to bring a ball? Oh my god, I'm gonna bring a ball. this we'll say is Earth. You're here when something. How do I do this? You're here when something goes around, but if it's up like this, how do I demonstrate this? Okay, say you're here. Say you're here. Can you see the ball? Okay, you can. Say you're here, and there's a ship. Starts here, goes over the horizon. Goes over the horizon. When you look and look straight, you can still see the top part. Maybe even up here. But there's a bottom part which is hidden by the curvature of the Earth. This is not really hard to understand. They just see the evidence that they want to see. They forget about the other stuff.
Glad. There would be really hardly any limit. You'd be able to stand at the top of the Empire State Building and look towards Chicago, a mere 1,000 miles away, and see the lights of Chicago at night.
No,
Why wouldn't
because you have an atmospheric disturbance.
Very thick.
I've been into astronomy since I was 10.
It's faulty logic. It's completely faulty logic.
Let's reset, and then I have a more interesting.
Okay.
Oh my god. So basically what they're saying is if you climb to the highest point, we'll say highest man-made point, Burj Khalifa, you get out a telescope. A telescope. You could see everything. That's what they're coming to say.
One of the big things I do is investigate extraordinary claims like flat eartherism or ESP or all sorts
What's
of different
ESP?
things. The Earth is undoubtedly a globe and not flat. This is well supported by gobs of science.
See? It's supported. Evidence. It is not stated, it's not a fact without evidence. Please, try to understand this. Scientific consensus is possible.
Consensus is possible.
Scientific consensus is possible.
What is the question?
See, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. You're telling the scientists that they were uneducated. You don't know what scientific consensus means. What is the question? I don't understand the question. You fucking
I
idiot.
don't understand the question.
Scientific consensus is possible.
Possible. Anything is possible. I mean, anything is possible. I've got a tremendous issue with consensus and peer review. I've been spending a lot of time arguing with people that argue the other side, and I found that surprisingly, consensus always wins. It was shocking to me that the group with the majority has an incredible advantage. As scientists, flat earthers, truthers, punks, we're an incredible disadvantage.
Let's talk about scientific consensus for a second. You're never going to get 100% of anyone. There is scientific consensus on a global Earth. There's scientific consensus on evolution. A lot of big issues.
Use the word theory.
No. Do you know what a theory in science is? An extremely
And a fact
Let
is
me-
a fact.
Don't mistake this word theory.
You are.
In science, it's not conjecture. It's not.
It's an explanation. Is it by definition, it's an explanation.
It's a deep.
Well, let's talk
So
about
this
a
is
fact.
something
Show me a
people
fact.
made a
then.
mistake.
Why
They
aren't
think
all
theory
facts
is-
theories?
In science, the word theory is the highest level that you can give something because it's so well supported.
What about a fact?
That is a fact. It's
Not a fact. You would call it.
You
a
know
fact.
why? Do you know why? Because in science, there's always room for improvement. There's always room to find to tweak and find better information.
So that is how science works.
It gets better refined over time, as
Exactly.
opposed to flat Earth theory, which never gets refined. It simply
That's it. See, this shows my inexperience. I know nothing compared to these scientists. It just shows I'm very what's the word? Not knowledgeable compared to these people.
what it is.
New ideas have limited access to media and limited exposure. Until we're in university curriculums, we will continue to appear uneducated.
Well, that's not true. In the history of science, we had many occasions that the ideas it was not welcomed by the society. Einstein was one of them.
Galileo.
Galileo was one of them. But if your theory is an authentic one, and it can be go through this hardship of scientific method, eventually will win.
Facts. 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 Galileo is the one that proved that it falls at the same rate. Well, how did he do that? He got up to the Tower of Pisa and dropped things. Both I believe were balls, and dropped it. Again, if there's a scientific method that we have, and it must go through the rigorous scientific method before it can be agreed that this is a fact. So please do not just say something because that's what you believe. Yeah? Isaac Newton saw gravity, saw something fall, but he did not just say there's something. You gotta get it proved. Get it proved. Go through the scientific method, get it proved. And I promise you that it will come. It will become a fact. It's my choice of words is not very good, but I hope everyone understands.
I used to believe that science was after the truth, right? We all just want to know what the truth is. Science has been trying so hard to divorce itself from the idea of a creator when God's intent was to create science to lead you to him. Sometimes things seem supernatural that we are able to explain later through, science. Okay, I understand. But there are other things as well that are supernatural, that go beyond the natural, that we can only explain through believing in a creator, right?
This is my big
Wait,
issue.
hold on. I'll let Ali talk, but through believing in a creator, what did this the other guy just say before? The gaps of gods. I didn't know about that till now. What you just said, when something cannot be proved by science, you fill in the gaps using what? God. Soon those gaps get smaller and smaller and smaller. This science always has room for improvement. They've literally just talked about what he's just talked about earlier. This is just
Through believing in a creator, right?
This is my big issue with science, scientific approach and non-scientific approach. You are absolutely right. In science, we are after the truth, and we are hoping by each day we getting closer and closer to the truth. We never get there. Never.
Well, I know that's true for you, and
No, that's a science. That's you guys. You think you do have the truth. Now let's look at the evidences. As you were mentioning, you do have the conclusion. Let's find the evidences. Science doesn't work that way.
That's not
Well,
true.
that's not what
That
we-
is not
Well,
true.
you are saying
No.
you are referring to Jesus, who many billions of people do not believe, including myself.
And many more billions do.
So what?
So who's right?
Of course, I can.
So
When you say that we
oh my god, oh my god, and what does that mean? What did he? I know that's true for you. We are hoping each by each day we get closer to the truth. My biggest aim in life is that I can get humanity as close as possible to the truth. Sorry, not the truth. I don't think we'll ever get the truth. I don't think we'll ever get the truth, especially not in my lifetime. But as knowledgeable as possible, so that the human race can prosper, which is what we have scientists for. We are after the truth and hoping by each day we get closer. That is what science is. Just if we were to believe every claim that was made, fucking hell, we by now we would believe in God. Like every whole world would believe in God. Science is there for evidence. Before it becomes a fact, it's got to be proved by evidence. This is what science is. So please, let's not say, I know it's true for you. What does that mean, mate? What does that mean?
So who's right?
Match everything to make it work. Like that to me is complete dishonesty. That is not true at all.
That is what you are doing
No,
right
you're
now.
not. You're making that assumption.
No,
which
it's
I
not
think
my
science does a
assumption.
lot of. So do you make assumptions or not? Does science make assumptions? Does science make
Yeah,
assumptions?
we
course.
sure
Okay.
we do make assumptions
But-
based on things that are well supported and proven.
It's
and
proven. It's got to be proven, supported, and reproven. I didn't even know reproven was a word. Proven, supported, reproven. Evidence, evidence, evidence. That's what you need. Innocent until proven guilty. Evidence.
proven. We don't have
Show
to.
me how you isolate gravity. If gravity
We
is
don't
an
have to-
assumption, show me in the scientific method how you isolate gravity.
We've done that. Actually,
Place this up. Let's cool off.
yeah, sure.
And
No, 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 no. These flat earthers don't believe in gravity. They don't believe in. See, I know Mr. Newton is just there like, what the hell is this? My whole life's work for people like you to say gravity doesn't exist.
You're like a walking Mars candy.
Conclusions require knowledge.
I just want to check in. How are you guys feeling? How's this discussion going?
I kind of feel like I want to develop some of this stuff a little bit more. It feels high level, but I feel like there's so much that I haven't really even touched base on.
Well, I mean, I certainly didn't think that anybody was on either side was going to flip.
Well, there's still time.
There's still time. I have hope for you, Wendell. And Sheldon. I don't know about Dan. I have hope for you too. But, you know, it's certainly, I'm glad it's a civil discussion, certainly.
Oh, yeah.
Put your waters to the
No, they're getting mad at my boy Ali. Ali's coming in with facts. Especially this blue shirt guy. I know what he's on about. I'll bang him in his fat face.
and we'll just do another round.
Fucking idiot.
Hey, what's that?
See?
He flipped! Wendell, welcome. The greatest moment in television history right there.
All right. NASA is trustworthy.
So, I mean, obviously, any organization can be wrong with certain things, and they may have individuals that lie or deceive or something, but as a general organization, they're looking for the truth.
Yeah, the idea that NASA and the government is lying to us about the shape of the Earth is the height of conspiracy theories. In order for this to be true, the literally hundreds of thousands of people who at some point over the last 50 or 60 years would had to be somewhat complicit in this, and nobody spills the beans at all, is on the face of it completely unbelievable.
NASA knows a
Private
lot more
does not
than we
know
know.
what the general is doing. There's compartmentalization happening all the time.
Of course.
So it wouldn't be that far-fetched. Has the government ever lied to us is really the question at stake.
We all agree on that.
But now we have NASA.gov, right? And absolutely, they're not lying about anything. They're completely transparent. Everything is true. We'd be foolish to
There's
think
a
that's
difference
true.
here. I'm sorry, this is a fallacy here. There's
Not
a
a
difference.
fallacy.
I'm sure it is.
Go
See,
ahead.
you were talking about a government. Now you're talking about an agency of the
NASA.gov.
government. But this agency is scrutinized by thousands and thousands of scientists around the globe. You are dealing with smart people, believe me. You are dealing with smart people.
I don't deny that.
So it is very hard to do that. Once or twice, maybe. Not for the all time.
Raise your hand if you think we went to the moon.
What is the proof? Hundreds and hundreds of pounds of moon rocks and dust. And we have distributed those freely to PhD scientists around the world. And not one of those geologists have said, what is this?
Been
This is
proven to
some-
be fake.
And
Wait, I'm not too sure. What is the chemical composition of a moon, of the rocks from the moon? Seven chemical elements: silicon, aluminium, iron, magnesium, calcium, titanium. And minor elements: salt, potassium, igneous. I'm not too sure what igneous. I didn't know this. I didn't know we got that much. Hundreds of pounds.
Yes.
and collected on the ice in Antarctica and in the Arctic as well.
There's-
Those are collected. You don't have to go to the moon to get moon rocks. As a matter of fact, all U.S. Air Force photography prior to 1958 shows a flat Earth. Only NASA shows
That's
us
not
fair.
true.
That's
That's absolutely not true.
Jim. I wouldn't lie to you.
And the other
NASA's lying to you, my friend.
other bit of proof
Not myself.
is we have a laser retroreflector on the moon.
Yeah.
That we're using now.
We still use to this day.
It's sitting there.
You can find to the inch how far away the moon
No
is.
pictures of home.
That only is there. By the
No,
way,
there are not.
My question to you is, why? Why?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's my point as well. The government lying to us about the money, the power, the killings that they do that we do not know about makes sense why it's on Earth. Honest, hard-working people who just want to find the truth. There is no reason to lie about if the Earth was flat. If the Earth was flat, we would say the Earth is flat because we have nothing to lose or gain from telling the truth. Sorry, we have nothing to lose, only gain from telling the truth. By saying that the Earth is a sphere, it means it's the truth. We only gain from the truth. We don't. Why don't they understand this?
Would all these honest, hardworking people perpetuate this massive fraud? Why would they do this?
What's the benefit of
What?
doing
Okay,
it?
Exactly.
The benefit of it. They make $52 million a day. Follow the money.
No, the little
Follow
guy.
the money.
The little guy.
That's what. Then when you say all, okay.
but it didn't start out that way. And NASA was not founded to prove the Earth was a globe. It had nothing to do with the way they were
Well,
founded.
if you go and study.
Are you
the-
sure?
Yeah, positive.
Really?
Yes.
The Earth has proved it's a globe a long time before NASA. A long time before NASA. Just by looking at a fucking moon and seeing the shadow that the Earth casts upon the moon. It's common sense.
Somebody has to be a voice for reason, and somebody has to be a voice for truth. It would be a fantasy to believe that I would change anybody's mind from the other three. However, if there's somebody sitting on the fence, and this is the first introduction to this debate, perhaps they'll hear the reasonable voice and say, yeah, that makes more sense than having this pizza-shaped Earth.
Pizza. Oh, so it's not even a
put
disc.
myself in the mindset of the other side.
I used to be a ball earther. Everything you say right now is completely what I used to agree to. So I completely understand where you're coming from.
For me, I think the correct way to do any kind of investigation or to examine things is by literally putting yourself in that mindset of the other person.
Yeah,
So
fact.
I do that. I disagree with your position, but I completely understand from your perspective what you're saying.
The trouble I have understanding your perspective is in the modern world, unless you live in a cave somewhere, you have to believe in science implicitly. I met a flat earther, a young woman who said, I don't trust anything that science does. And that's a problem because human beings can't replicate the whole body of science every single generation. At some point, you have to trust what's already been discovered and proven and move on to the next thing. Otherwise, we're not going to advance at all. I mean, when you turn that key ignition in your car, you expect the car to start out
And not blow up.
and not blow up because science puts you in that
And you
position.
trust the
So
science.
it's really hard to understand how people would know in their hearts that science achieves wonderful things and then just jumping ship when it comes to this other issue.
We're not drawing conclusions. We understand the mechanisms that made that car work. There was no theories and no disputed conclusions involved there. It's not a good analogy. Can I admit a great compromise that we have to experience being against the grain people is we have to literally sit in a group and decide whether or not we can afford to have an opinion. And that's tough.
Shut up, man, because it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. What you're saying is you're going against evidence. You're going against science. It's tough to have an opinion, bro. This is not your therapy session.
Actually,
Fucking bald
I agree
idiot.
with you there because we're the same thing. I mean, I think skeptics go through this and atheists go through this. I don't believe in God. When I'm around religious people, I take a chance socially when I tell them I'm an atheist. So I know it takes some courage to follow your beliefs, and I appreciate that. But I think I've done a lot of research in that venue too. And it's not something I choose to believe in, it's something I have to believe in based on the evidence.
See, what I get from you guys is that seeing is believing. So how come you believe in God or Jesus? You haven't seen neither of them, right?
I've seen evidence, though.
Well, exactly. So we are looking for evidence. There are many, many other evidences for Earth not being flat. My point is that these experiments clearly show that the Earth is globe. And you don't need to go outside the globe to see it's globe.
It's a
You told me you
theoretical.
want the evidence. If you're saying that you look only to see something, then I dispute your belief system in God and Jesus or Jehovah or Buddha or Zarathustra or anyone.
You keep going back to religion as being
Because
our
it's coming
conclusion.
from there.
No,
But religion is your conclusion. Because you said that all religion believes that the Earth is flat.
You do
no,
have
not
the
have
I
truth.
have evidence.
She just-
I have evidence.
You
for what
quoted
I
at the
know.
beginning
She
of
pointed out
this.
physics.
You
I
quoted
agree.
Bible.
Of
That's
course
the
I did,
reason.
but that is not the only reason I know what the shape of the Earth is, and you keep
Well,
that's fallacy.
It's not fallacy.
It is a
Actually,
fallacy.
it is not
It
fallacy.
is a fallacy.
You
It's
I'm
ridiculous.
a theoretical physicist. What I'm doing is the combination of string theory and cosmology. So
Oh, really? I think. I'm not sure what I want to do. Yet, but I think I want to go to learn more about string theory. Yeah. But I'm not too sure.
try to understand what happened during the Big Bang, after the Big Bang, or even before the Big Bang.
What are you hoping to get from the discussion today?
Well, I hope I would be able, particularly to the young generation, to convince them that first they should think critically and don't believe anything. They shouldn't take anything for granted. Look at the evidences and examine those evidences and throw away those claims that are not evidence-based.
Science, not to put it down, but when you're talking about rocket science, this is very difficult for the majority of people to understand, and it's designed that way. And so, in a lot of ways, hiding behind rocket science is similar to religion. If you look at the Catholic Church back in the days, only we can interpret the Bible, you have to listen to what we say. So in a lot of ways, we're getting that same notion from science that says, only we can interpret what these numbers are, you just need to trust us. But then when we actually do go and test some of their equations and they don't work, does that beg the question for us to go and test it ourselves? Absolutely.
I would say, one great thing about science is its predictability. Let's for a short moment, assume that your model, this flat Earth model, is correct. I don't know, what does it buy for us? What does it predict for us? So my question for you guys would be, next time, bring me something from your theory, your model, that you can predict something which the globe Earth model cannot predict. Then I would change my mind.
I would just say that don't believe anything that I've said. You got to do your own research. And I think what you'll find is that you'll see that a puzzle piece doesn't fit. And the only way you're going to do that is if you put your own eyeballs on it.
I don't blame people for being skeptical. I'm skeptical about a lot of different things. I applaud that instinct in you. But you have to go beyond just not believing in something. Ask the hard questions. Ask what qualifies a YouTuber, a book author, anywhere else you're getting this information, what qualifies them to make wide-ranging comments about the shape of the Earth? Look, anybody who can overturn Einstein or some major theory is going to be eventually written in the halls of science for the rest of their lives. But they have to come up with the goods. They have to show good science-based evidence that what they say is true, and they have to withstand the test of time and peer review and the rigors of the scientific method.
All right. Thank you. I'm all sweaty.
Ollie, it was nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you for seeing you. Hey, I want to get you a copy of my novel. Oh, sure. And, hey, good job.
Thank you guys for watching this episode of Middle.
Yeah, give Ali his copy of his novel. No, give Ali a copy of your novel. That's good. Let's see what the comments say. I I don't think you're uneducated. I think you are wrongly educated. See, that's what I was talking about. But then but no, but then they believe that they haven't been to the moon. That's what they believe. Is an ignorant person against Dan the Waterman? Yeah, legit. No, but let's not go for people's jobs. Let's not do that. I'm a logical, biblically based, scientific flat earther. That's I see. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. But yeah, my point is, if you guys understand, 10 challenges for flat earthers, go watch that. But at the same time, uh, don't rely on YouTube. Don't rely on YouTube for either opinion. But yeah, if you that's my thing. I think it's pretty clear what my stance is. Again, go find out for yourself. Do an experiment yourself. Yeah,